I'm hoping you can see me here for a second, and I'm guessing you can't. This is super funny to me. Okay, so one of these days I'm going to get this right, I promise you. So gut brain, that's what we want to talk about. I'm going to skip over here to my desktop because I want to share this with you. And then we're going to go right through it. We're going to check it out, and then we're going to be right back. And we're going to actually, we're going to actually do a little kind of a balance in your system, a little bit of a meditation to see what we can do with this gut brain. All right, so how do you feel the gut brain in action? Can you feel it in action? And if you can feel it in action, can you use it? That's going to be the question. So the gut feels and recalls more than your head does. Did you know that? That's kind of crazy to think about. Let's find out why. This was stated by a Michael Gershon. He's an expert in anatomy and the cellular biology at Columbia University, and he's the author of a bestseller called The Second Brain. So he says, just think that the gut, while having only 1/10 of the neurons of the brain, works independently and helps to fix the memories related to emotions and plays a key role in signaling joy and pain. Joy and pain. We normally just relate the gut to that feeling that you feel when you're like, oh no, something's wrong, and you kind of go into fight and flight, and you get that gut feeling, like the butterfly feeling, right? So Michael Gershon surmised the intestine is a site of what he called the second brain, and now we're calling that the gut brain. So it's no coincidence that the gut cells produce 95% of serotonin. That's the neurotransmitter of well-being. So that's that neurotransmitter that makes you feel good in your system. We normally relate that to a head thing, to a neurotransmitter that's produced in your head alongside like dopamine or oxytocin. But the fact is there's more of it produced inside your gut. He's also said the gut releases serotonin as a result of the external stimuli, things like food intake, so whatever you're putting inside your body, but also it's stimulated by color and sound. Isn't that interesting? My guess is probably also by even more than that, by touch, and probably even by just the energy of things you feel around you, which is where a lot of people actually feel those butterflies. You don't even really maybe know that something's coming up behind you, but you can feel it, and you get that strange feeling in your gut, that gut feeling, right? You get that visceral reaction. Why is that? What is it about your gut that sends out those feelers and helps you sense those kind of things? So from the gut, for the most part, these unconscious messages we perceive only when they become warning signs and trigger reactions of discomfort. But it's just one example of the belly's emotions, such as nausea, fear, pain, and also anguish. So how many have experienced the feeling of butterflies in the stomach during a stressful conversation, or maybe you're going to take a test or an exam and you get those butterflies? Do you remember feeling that feeling ever? Well, this is also, remember, he said it was pain and joy. Why is it we never get the butterflies of the opposite end of it? What have we lost somewhere in translation with our gut? So we know this, that the belly produces its own neurotransmitters. The question is the usage of this gut brain limited to just visceral reaction? Like when you react to something, when that thing is coming up behind you, you get the butterflies. When you know you're going into the test and you start getting nervous, right? Or is there an semblance of control that we've actually lost that we should have? That's my question. Is there some semblance down there of control that we should have over that gut brain, and allowing those neurotransmitters to release in a more positive way instead of leaving us always in this feeling of dread and fear and pain, right? So due to many reasons, including lack of awareness, so maybe we're just not aware of it, and poor nutrition, which definitely derails the gut. So if you're eating chemicals and poison, and if you've killed that good gut bacteria off and you're struggling to find that and get that back, it may be hard to feel those neurotransmitters. They might not even be producing properly in your gut. And it's interesting that when we go to the doctor, and you've probably heard this before too, and you're talking about depression and anxiety, they give you a medication that they tell you will balance the neurotransmitters in your head. But they never really mention what will that do in your gut. Is that going to help or is it going to hinder? I don't know. How many of you have been on antidepressants? Sometimes they help, sometimes they don't seem to so much. So my question is this something we can regain control of? Is it something we can have authority over? And to what level? So what I want to give you, what I want to offer you right now is a way to feel your gut brain. And maybe even a way to practice, to start start utilizing it. Doesn't that sound cool? So this is what I call the ladder of brain awareness. So we're using many different brains because you also have a heart brain, what's referred to as a heart brain. So we know we have our gray matter up here, our heart brain, and then our gut brain. So I'm going to have you do whatever practice you normally do to get yourself into a preparation for a meditation. This is going to be a really short, quick one just to get you to feel this a little bit. And then we'll talk about utilization. But to start with, go ahead and close your eyes. I want you to take a few nice deep breaths, inhaling and exhaling as you normally would to begin a meditation. Nice deep inhales, nice deep exhales. If you can, allow your exhales to be a little bit longer than your inhales. And go ahead and keep breathing through that. And while you're doing that, I want you to start to think of a memory. Start to pull up something inside your head. Access a memory that you have. A memory from maybe when you were a child, maybe when you were older, maybe when you've already been married. You know, maybe a time when you were on a beach, when you were maybe up on a mountain somewhere. But a time when you were really super happy. So as you're breathing, go ahead and pull up that memory. We're accessing a memory from your brain, from your gray matter. So we're reaching into that storage locker, finding that happy memory. And whatever that happy memory is, I want you to really open it up big. See the colors that are in it. Feel it, be in the moment of it, really bring it back up into your awareness so you can sense it, you can feel it, you can smell it, you can taste it, you can hear it, you can see it. Make it bigger than life. And then on your next inhale, I want you to visualize a bucket. Whatever that looks like to you, and I want you to take all of that memory, scoop all of that up and put it inside this bucket. And while you've got that in this bucket, I want you to visualize a ladder. And so on the ladder, you're going to take that bucket and you're going to put the ladder between your brain and your heart. And I want you to walk down that ladder with your bucket into your heart space. And now spill out that bucket all over your heart space. The happy memory that you just accessed from your brain, we're going to take into the heart. And I just want you to feel it from your heart. Notice what that feels like. And we're just going to stay here for a second. But once you've got that feeling, if you're thinking about the memory again, if you're back into thinking, you're back up in your brain. Bring it back down into your heart where you're just feeling it. And now go ahead and scoop that memory up again. Scoop it all up. Put it back inside your bucket. And I want you to take that happy memory and I want you to put it back in the ladder, or on the ladder, put it back in the bucket, walk down the ladder, and this time you're going from your heart to your gut, so that ladder is reaching all the way down into your gut. Once you get down there, I want you to go ahead and spill this bucket out again. Spill it out all over inside your gut and just feel it from a gut level. And don't second guess what you're feeling, because your gut knows things. It just knows them intrinsically. So just feel what you're knowing. If you're back to thinking about it, you're back up in your brain. Walk yourself back down into your gut. And you might even want to notice how your breathing shifted. And just feel that inside of there. And now from there, I want you to scoop that memory back up, put it back inside your bucket. And this time, you're going to let that ladder reach all the way from your gut, all the way up above your body, all the way above yourself, out into the universe. And I want you to spill your memory all over the universe. Just open that bucket up and just spill it out everywhere, right at the feet of God. Spill that happy memory out and just breathe into that for a few seconds. Try and notice what that memory looks like now. What does it feel like? Maybe what does it sound like? Just really notice what that is. And now you're going to go ahead and scoop that memory back up again, put it back in your bucket. And then get back on your ladder, and I want you to walk that memory from the universe back down into your brain. And then go ahead and spill that back out inside your brain. And again, just notice. And what I want you to notice, is there a difference from the first time you thought about that memory to now? To having run that memory through all of these different brains, through all of these different levels, when you come back into your brain, what does that memory look like now? Do you have a different perception of it? Does it feel different? Do you know it different? It's very interesting. So my question is, how aware can you get that when something is going on around you, that inside your gut, inside that feeling, inside that space, that knowing, you can stop yourself, and instead of being inside your brain where you're thinking about something, you can be in your brain and drop it down into your gut and utilize a knowing instead of a memory from your brain to access whatever it is that you're going through at that point. Do you think that's possible? I guess that's my big question, is do you think that's possible? So come back out of your meditation, try and ground your feet, step your feet into the floor, maybe pat your hands on your knees, kind of bring yourself back for a second. And let's think about that for a second. Is there a way to possibly get a person, get yourself into this place where you can become so aware of where you're going inside your head, inside of your mind, that instead of being here or instead of being in your mind, you can drop that all the way down inside of the knowing that is your gut? I don't know. I've been practicing, I've been playing with it, and it's literally a practice. It's catching yourself, and I've actually even put myself into a few situations intentionally where I get a little bit tense and a little bit irritable and a little bit nervous, and so I put myself into those situations wondering, while I'm in there, if I can drop this down into my gut, how does the situation change? What does it feel like? What does it do differently for me when I'm dropping my everything down there? It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting. So I encourage you to play with that. Go ahead, if you have played with it, if you know what I'm talking about here, leave some comments in the comments section below. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to Mind Rewire. Go find us on Facebook, like us over there, and hang out in our community. I'm always trying to ask weird questions about how this works and how can we do it differently, because I think there's a lot of things in our system that our physiology allows for that we just don't even utilize. And I think this might be one of them. I think this is a place of knowing. This is a place where a lot of information is stored just kind of by proxy. It's just stored in our gut. It's there to access whenever we want to. If we can clear out the chemicals and the junk that we've piled in there, we might have a better chance at survival and, I don't even know, getting through this lifetime in a more joyful and fun manner than we ever have thought possible. So anyway, this is Mind Rewire. My name is Christy Mattoon. I'm super excited to be here with you sharing this. I love this kind of stuff. if you like this this kind of information, leave a comment below. Let me know if you have questions or you want any other kind of comment. We're going to keep doing these Saturday little kind of meditations or whatever this was, just to engage the system a little bit differently and try and get to know how our bodies work a little bit differently. Subscribe to the page, and I will see you again next time. Thanks again.